all profound things and emotion of things are preceded and attended by silence. This is a quote from Herman Melville, a prolific American novelist. In the Western world, silence has many different uses. However, the most common is to show a sign of respect. In the UK, a 2-minute silence is observed on the anniversary of tragic events such as the 11th of November at 11 a.m. This has been happening since 1919 when the First World War ended. The quiet time is used to reflect on the heroes and the losses experienced by families. It happens everywhere, even in shops and call centres. Silence has power. Because the world is always moving. If we stop the machine, we can finally hear our innermost thoughts. Often, a silent march is organised as a response to senseless violence. It is the complete antithesis of the terrible actions that have taken place. And so, the stark difference between the events and the reaction draws more emotion. It is a peaceful protest without shouting, no chants or interacting with bystanders. It's the silence that makes these rituals so powerful. Consider this. Even when 2 people are together, they will probably be in some form of verbal communication. So having a group of people filling a space with silence is an alien concept. The power of silence is versatile. It doesn't have to be used as a reaction to violence or bloodshed. It can be used in intimate moments or moments of support where verbal language is lacking. A hug, a touch of the hand, a silent nod, a silent smile. These often hold much more weight for us because they can be acknowledged by strangers without feeling awkward. Silence plays a vital role in nurturing creativity, mental health, mindfulness, and even gaining the upper hand in negotiations. Silence can also be weaponized and used to intimidate. This video draws on the power of silence and explores how it can benefit you. Jalal ad-Din Muhammad Rumi is a famous Persian philosopher. Rumi believed that silence was essential, and he believed that if you were silent, you could discover a voice that doesn't use words. It would bring you closer to God. The main idea being that when we stop using our own voice, we open ourselves up to previous voices that have been suppressed by our own verbal vibrations. Rumi is not alone in his praise of silence. Ralph Waldo Emerson is oft quoted as saying, "We live in succession, in division, in parts, in particles. Meantime, within man is the soul of the whole, the wise silence, the universal beauty to which every part and particle is equally related, the eternal one." He was an American essayist, lecturer, philosopher, and poet who led the transcendentalist movement of the mid-19th century. His forward-thinking philosophies often drew weight from the Eastern mystics. The concept of stillness and quiet is twofold. If we keep quiet, we have the ability to hear and absorb more wisdom from nature and also from people who are around us. We can hear their words without rushing to reply or always thinking about the next sentence we're going to say. As well as listening mindfully, we show others respect, and we can then have meaningful interactions because we are in a learning mindset. If we refuse to adopt a position of stillness and quiet, at least for some of our day, we will never have the capacity to learn new things effectively or learn about our inner self. This means that when we speak with others, we are recycling information that we already know, and our spiritual growth becomes stunted. Have you ever met someone and become acquaintances, maybe even friends, and you realise after a while they are just repeating the same stories and same views? This is what happens when you don't allow yourself time to be still and silent. It can also be a product of fear and anxiety because you are too afraid to be alone with your personal thoughts. But why was silence originally valued so much by humans? We haven't always been at the evolutionary stage where we have the luxury to philosophize. Early humans were hunters and gatherers. Their communication would have been similar to the great apes today, grunts and chattering noises. If they continually communicated, their prey or a predator would be able to locate them. Therefore, it is logical to assume that the quietest, skilled members of society rose in respect through the generations. Moving on to modern humans, over-discussing a topic or idle chatter can distract you from subtle signs that your body is trying to tell you. We may ignore the pain in our knee or our shoulder and just push through, complaining to people that it occasionally hurts, but not really listening to why your body is telling you this. A moment of quiet reflection could mean that you identify an incident where you overstretched your limb and you've just been taking painkillers ever since, rather than letting it heal. Listening to your body and your thoughts in calm quietude can help you come to solutions or find answers if you just take the time to listen. In Buddhism, it is taught that you are not your thoughts. When you are silent, you can hear your thoughts and analyze them. You can identify issues and create solutions, seeing them as temporary objects outside of the self. Ideas, beliefs, concepts, these are all fleeting. Silence is an empty space. Space is the home of the awakened mind. I stop thinking, swim in silence, and the truth comes to me. Einstein theorized that silence stimulates a creative mindset. When he was having difficulty coming up with an idea or exploring a solution to a problem, he would allow his mind to be silenced and reduce all stimuli, allowing the right answer to come to him. Like many great thinkers, Einstein spent a lot of time in solitude, using silence to his advantage. We see this characterized in movies and cartoons, where there is a hermit, a lone professor, hidden away in his laboratory or a tower. They're often portrayed as crazy or weird, but what if they're just using quiet stillness as part of their scientific method? In Psychology Today, David Rock explored the work by Mark Beeman, who is one of the eminent neuroscientists studying the aha moment. That's the moment when you can gain insight into an idea or you suddenly find a resolution to a problem. These are generally just called insights. Insights are made up of weaker, less noticeable connections, and because we have millions of neurons constantly speaking to each other, we only notice the louder of the signals. Just like how it's hard to hear a vibrating cell phone at a loud party, it's hard to notice signals that have less energy than the general energy level already present in the brain. Thus, we have these insights when our overall activity level in the brain is low. This happens when we're either doing something that doesn't require a lot of mental effort, when we're focusing on something repetitive, or just generally more relaxed, like when we wake up. Insights require a quiet mind because they themselves are quiet. So, based on this research and historical experiences of others, it's clear that we need to manifest the right conditions for creativity to flourish. We need to find the things that personally help us relax. This could be listening to instrumental music without lyrics, exercising, meditation, visiting a spiritual place. You need to find out what makes you the most relaxed and clear-headed. It's not a template for everyone, as we all prefer different things. As we mentioned in the introduction, silence is strong, powerful, and cannot be ignored. This can be in the context of a conversation, where you time your pauses and breathing to convey your opinion rather than using words. Famous author Mark Twain stated, "The right words may be effective, but no word was ever as effective as a rightly timed pause." Academic studies have been carried out across the years which concluded that within normal conversation, pauses that last longer than 4 seconds begin to become unbearable. Hence, a person will usually try to fill the gap. Melissa Dahl, author of How to Use Awkward Silence to Get What You Want, explains that these are life's unscripted moments when there's no clear indication of what to say or do next. It's a well-established finding in psychology research that not knowing tends to make people uneasy. Therefore, in an argument, a negotiation, or when you want to require a third party to consider something deeply, leaving a moment of silence for your words and information to sink in will stick in their mind. In the worst case, they will just panic and make a split decision. But in the best case, they will use the silence to absorb the knowledge and then consider your offer. There really is no way to lose. The power of silence can also be seen in public events, such as the Dutch silent rituals, remembering their dead and military heroes each year on the 4th of May. The 2-minute silence is always the most impactful part of a ceremony, even more so than the well-planned speeches. This is because silence helps us tune into something that goes beyond words. It's a universal language where we can consider the issues at hand. Silence acknowledges that no amount of words can do justice to what we seek to commemorate. Mental health issues such as depression, anxiety, and PTSD are not a new phenomenon. Historical records tell us of our ancestors' struggles with these conditions throughout the ages. They also give us examples of how well-being was improved. You can find these quotes easily when browsing the internet, but some are a little more hidden within books and stories. Luckily for us and you, academic studies and a whole wealth of recent information is available freely online. So, after the video ends, you may want to browse techniques and find out what suits you best when you need to become still and silent. In regard to this, something that we have found interesting was that it's been claimed that 2 minutes of silence relaxes the mind more than 2 minutes of listening to calm music or meditation sounds. This is something to consider when building your quiet time into your day. Moving on from this point, we do appreciate that it's hard to find somewhere that's completely silent and free from human environmental noise. That's why some people choose to listen to soothing music in the first place. It's a well-known fact that the background noise created by our living spaces, such as vehicle engines, trains, distant chatter, mechanical noises, doors opening and closing, etc., can raise the stress hormone levels within your body. In a case where you cannot find an entirely quiet room or you don't have access to a green space that is far away from the noise of humanity, you can use your headphones or earbuds to silence the world. Ear defenders are also available cheaply from hardware stores, and they often have a soft cushion surrounding them, making them the most comfortable option. Release is what I'm truly craving here, and release comes from emptiness. The emptiness of silence, of lonely landscapes, of closed eyes, of lying down in a dark, quiet room. The drop in tension that happens when we take a vacation somewhere calm, the instant of zero gravity during an orgasm, the psychic leap of a good joke when it flips the world on its head for a splinter of a second. Such void cuts off the fascist flow of constant information and allows us to recalibrate, to think better, to question for a second our baseline. If you have enjoyed this video and you're inspired by what you've seen, don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Let's change the world together.